Khatia, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
The first question would be about the differences between what you did in Georgia and between the reforms that went through in Georgia and in Ukraine. There are lots of similarities when we're talking about these reforms, but it's quite obvious that these countries are very different and the challenges are really different. First of them is the number of the policemen, even here in Ukraine. What would you say about the differences and the challenges when we're talking about Georgia and Ukraine?
This is a question I've been asking all the time to myself also. So what is the main difference? And actually, I don't really much like the question because, you know, just Georgian reform, Ukrainian reform, because Georgia is a unique country and Ukraine is a unique country. Because we have, I mean, as in countries, I mean, we as Ukraine and Georgians, we absolutely different mentalities and, of course, scales, you know, geography, because which is huge.
So there's a different approach.
Yeah, absolutely, there's a different approach because I can say, and I must say that first of all, there are no copy-paste reforms. There are no copy-paste before reforms because we can't copy one reform and paste to another country, this reform to another country, because we have to be very careful about the mentality, about the situation, about the history, about the past, about the presence. You know, just that we have to be very careful, you know, and that looks to a different, you know, direction. So first of all, but I can say that there are some similarities because first of all, reforms are always sensitive. Why? Because, you know, just they are painful sometimes, they are sensitive, and they're important. And therefore, and the reform of the national police, not reform, you know, just I have to correct myself, is like the establishing of the national police of Ukraine is, I think that is a #1 priority for the country, because police is a backbone for the security, internal and external security for the country. It's important for the country to have very strong, stable, professional and fair police. So I think that step by step, yes, just copying some experience, yes, just talking to the people, yes, asking some advices to our partners and strategic partners. I think that the step by step, just that we will be heading to our just the main goal.
I was asking about the numbers because there is a concern that those huge numbers of policemen who might not go through or let's say succeed in reattestation, whether the economy or whether the country or society is ready to take those people back into society, whether they will find themselves there. Is it a huge concern? Is it a serious concern? Should we take this into account?
Let's say in this way that I don't see these people in the risk zone, right? Because they are not poor people, they are quite rich people. So, and they're the people who are kind of selfish because, you know, just what they did that they did, like, you know, just very bad stuff because they changed their life, and you know, that their priority was like just to gain and not to be professionals, and of course not to be fair. So secondly, I can say that the main problem, not main problem, but the main priority and the task for us will be to change the mentality and to reshuffle the mentality of the police officers, you know? I mean, militia officers who will be appointed on the permanent vacancies at the National Police of Ukraine, to change the mentality. Probably, maybe the person had some problems or mistakes, or he used to just think and work in another way because, you know, that he was a part or she was a part of the system which was corrupted, which was bad, and which was like, you know, just acting the way it was acting, you know. So, but the main task for us is that to create a new structure, a new concept of the modern police officer who will be caring about people, who will be oriented on the community, and who will be the core of the community policing in Ukraine. I think that if we will be, you know, just doing right stuff, I mean, well, with problems, with some mistakes, but right stuff, I think that we can create a universal police officer with different mind. So what happened with the patrol police officers? You know, what is a main difference between the patrol police officers and the DAI, if you ask a just ordinary person in the street, the main difference is that they are just not bribed, you know? They are just not taking money. And by the way, we had a wonderful, not wonderful, how to say, just for me it's wonderful, but we had a very good example in Odessa when patrol police officer was asked to be bribed, but he said that no, and he arrested the man who was just trying to bribe him. Can you imagine? Can you imagine it's happening with a person, you know?
No, it's a wonderful story for me too.
So we have to create a different concept and the format and the frames of the patrol of the police officer. I mean, working in the NPU.
Is it? I think it's one of the main questions among ourselves as well, because we as a part of society are also closely watching these reforms happening. Is it possible to create a transparent structure in a highly corrupted system overall, while those new officers with new mentality, as you say, know and fully aware of the corruption on the high levels, and they know that it is still there and it is still happening? Is it possible to create something like that in a overall corrupt system?
Everything is possible. You know, there is when we're talking about the possibilities. You know, I think that the human being is the most perfect creature on the earth. You know, with a lot of possibilities. So I think that we can make it. We can make it because, you know, first of all, we have to create a very transparent and open, you know, society within the National Police of Ukraine. So thus, the police can become, how to say, the first train in the row for the country. Train pointing that, okay, this training is, you know, just made a the huge breakthrough. So we can so we can just follow them. I mean, I think that this example will be like I think it is a role model for me. And I think that the NPU must be the role model for others.
The new year is there already. What do you think are the main challenges for you as the head of the National Police in the upcoming year?
Well, we will have a lot of challenges, and I don't have some intentions that everything will be smooth, because first of all, we have to do the very crucial reforms, and I think that but it's important to say, frankly and honestly, that you know, the 2016 will be crucial for the NPU, for creating the stable situation in the country, create the good concept of the police officers, just with good salaries, good equipment, you know, well equipped, you know, with good cars, gasoline, and everything. You know, this is a complex we have to think about, and this is a complex that we have to provide to the police officers in terms of to just demand and request the highest standards, as I said, you know, in the previous interview. So I think that yes, there are challenges. I think that there will be mistakes, there will be problems. But if you ask me why you are so confident that everything will be okay, you know, I'm always confident. I'm always confident because we don't have any other way back. We don't have it. So all the time, I know, for starting my service at the government of Georgia and, you know, just continuing my service in Ukraine. So there are our countries and there is our country, Ukraine, behind our back. So we can't step up. So that's my point.
But very short, just to specify.
I don't want to be very pathetic, but I think, you know, talking about the future and talking about the future of our kids and our country, I think that, you know, I have a right to be emotional.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.